So my parents were married for 10 years. And for 10 years, they tried to have a child. For 10 years, they wanted to have a baby. And if you were here last week, what I will say is for 10 years, my mom was sitting in the truck honking the horn. And not walking around in her pen, right? So if you don't know what in the world that means, listen to last week and you will understand that. 10 years, she was just she was not walking around in her pen, but finally she did, meaning finally 10 years after attempting to get pregnant, she did. And they lived in New York City at the time. Now, this was in the 50s. They lived in New York City and thought that New York is no place to raise a child. In the 50s, they thought this. So they moved to Florida. They moved to Tampa, Florida. And I was born in October, so my mother was very pregnant in the summer. Tampa, Florida, summer. Now, I know it's humid here right now, but normally it's like pizza oven dry here, hot. And I will take pizza oven dry heat over steam iron heat any day of the week, and steam iron heat is what you get in Tampa, Florida. So my mother, going through the summertime, very pregnant, gained a ton of weight. I mean, she gained so much weight. And she went to her doctor one time, and he said, "What are you doing? You have gained way, way too much weight." And she said, "I don't know. Because I'm so hot, I can't eat anything except one thing." And the doctor says, "Well, what in the world are you eating?" "Watermelon." Watermelon was the only thing, pretty much, that my mother was eating. Well, just in case you don't know, that watermelon has lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of sugar in it. So, why in the world am I telling you that? Well, I'm telling you that because obviously in utero, I gained quite a fascination with an affinity for watermelon. And so far this month, so that's me, isn't it, Phil? Yeah. All right, one more time. I'm going to make sure I'm plugged in. If that happens again, I'll use the handheld, because we don't want that. Okay, it's getting loose. I'm getting loose, so there we go. So for the last 2 weeks, and today we're going to finish. So that is my man, and I adore him, and sometimes I can't look at him right now, because I do. And only the front row knows what you did. The rest of them are like, "What is happening up here?" So we're not going to say what he did. All right. Honk, honk is what he did. All right. So, watermelon. What in the world does that watermelon story have to do with anything? The last 2 weeks and today, we are looking at the Watermelon Credo and finding some juicy, cool, sweet, and delicious spiritual wisdom in watermelon. Now, where in the world does that come from? Well, it actually comes from Wally Amos, formerly famous Amos, who has written a number of books about watermelon and created the Watermelon Credo, which is taking the word watermelon and making it into an acronym for different spiritual life lessons, taking each letter of the word watermelon to offer a slice of wisdom. And in the last 2 weeks, we've done the WATERME. That's where we've been. Today, we're going to wrap it all up, finish it up, do the last 3 letters, and then conclude it. And I was thinking about, like a big, exciting conclusion to our theme. And I thought, oh, I know, I'll do what Gallagher used to do in his comedy acts. Y'all know what that is? Yeah. No, some of you don't. Right. Yeah, well, I'm not going to do it just for the record. No, you're welcome. Yeah. He would smash watermelon and other fruit and other things with a big mallet, and the first 4 rows had to have a piece of plastic over them because they would just get smashed. I promise I won't do that, but we'll do something to wrap up our time together. But we're going to look first at the L, the O, and the N, and knowing that they are each letters for a juicy piece of spiritual wisdom. And we're going to spend the most time on the L. We'll get the O and the N because they're important. They're very important. But the L is so very important. So important that it got the it got our opening song was about what the L is about. So you might be able to figure that out, right? Because you're sharp cookies. What would that be? The L stands for love. That's right. So, yes, I do have watermelon candy again today. And I don't know who said love first. I'm not sure who I heard it from first. You all said it. I certainly heard it here. I toss candy sometimes. It's crazy. Yeah, there you go. Love. Who else said love? Yes, Reverend Sandra said, oh, sorry, you got that, Jeff. Who else? Okay, Kathleen, there you go. Mm-hmm. You sang about love. I like Phil. Oh, Phil, in the very back row. We're going to have, overhand, yeah. That'll really pull out my microphone. We're going to have to skip it, okay? Skip this back to Phil in the back. I don't know where it's going, so somebody catch it. Robert, I'm trying to get to you. Oh, there we go. Okay, send it on back to Phil. All right. So, yes, love is going to be our... She's walking it back. Thank you, Terry. So it's not just love, it's a statement about love, and it's a beautiful, powerful statement about love. So take a deep breath, because it's going to take us really deep right here. Okay, are you ready for it? Thank you. Love is the answer, no matter what the question is. Love is the answer, no matter what the question is. Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind, at page 428, Stephanie, you're welcome, seemed to be in line with that idea when he wrote, do we teach our children to follow the steps of a Caesar or a Napoleon? Or do we tell them the story of Jesus or Buddha? The cross is mightier than the crown, and we teach our children that love masters everything. Isn't that beautiful? We teach our children that love masters everything. You know, I've read that Science of Mind textbook, I don't know how many times, and I've highlighted most of it. And I swear that quote was never in there before. It wasn't in there before. I found it this time, like, I have never remember reading that. And it wasn't highlighted, so it is now. And I like that. So love masters everything. Love is the answer no matter what the question is. So my question to you, you don't have to answer it, it's rhetorical, is how does that land in you? How does that land in you? Because it's a beautiful idea in the abstract. And we probably intellectually go, oh, yes, of course. Yes. But it's the application of it that can get a little bit dicey. Can love really, really be the answer, no matter what the question is? Can love really, really master everything? Well, it doesn't matter that Wally Amos thinks it can in his Watermelon Credo. It doesn't matter that Ernest Holmes said that it can in that quote. It doesn't matter that I'm suggesting this morning that it does. What matters is, can it be that for you? That's the only thing that matters. And in order for you to test that, to try that out, you have to take a risk. Because Wally Amos, Ernest Holmes, and I could be all wet. We could be totally wrong. And you could try it. You could try love in a situation, and you could fall flat on your face. You could get hurt. Yes, that's true. It's a risk. But this morning, I'm asking you, are you willing, again, rhetorical, don't have to answer out loud, but are you willing to take a risk? And as I share a story with you, I want you to be thinking, excuse me, is there a place in your life today where love might be the answer? Love might master something. Love might solve a situation that you're dealing with. And yet you've been afraid to apply love because we can all get kind of stuck in, our rightness or our ego or our fear or whatever it might be. Is there a place in your life where love really could be the answer? Just ask that, and in a bit, I'll see where we go with that. So I want to share a story with you, a true story. And it is about an Australian by the name of Henry Bobby Pierce. Now, you may not have heard of Henry Bobby Pierce because most of us, I actually think all of us, are probably not old enough to remember this, although you may have heard it. He was in the 1928 Olympics, and he was a single scull rower. So those long canoe-looking things you row backwards. One man, you know what I'm talking about? You've seen those. All right. So he had trained. You know what it takes to get to we don't know. I don't know that any of us really know what it takes to get to the Olympics, but we can imagine what it takes to get to the Olympics. And he had done everything that it takes to get to the Olympics: blood, sweat, and tears, and stamina, and foregoing lots of things so he could be in the water probably every day practicing, and he makes it to the Olympics. And of course, what does someone who goes to the Olympics have on their heart and on their mind? What do they want? They want to win the gold. They want to win the gold for themselves. They want to win the gold for their country. That's why someone goes to the Olympics, is to win the gold. And so, of course, he went there to win gold. So he is now in the race of his lifetime, and it is a two-man single elimination round, meaning he and one other rower are in a early round that whichever one of them wins will then go to the next round, and who doesn't win is done. They're out. They're finished. Their career in the Olympics in the single-man scull rowing competition is complete. So he is rowing against a Frenchman by the name of Vincent Saurin. They're rowing, and Bobby Pierce is ahead. He's ahead by quite a bit, as a matter of fact, and it's looking like he's going to win. And then something happens that changes the life of everybody who was watching, and him, and now probably all of us when we hear about it. So I'm going to read what he said about it when he was interviewed many years later in the 70s. He was interviewed about this incident. He said, "I heard wild roars from the crowd along the bank of the canal. I could see some spectators vigorously pointing to something behind me," remember they row backwards, "in my path. I peeked over my shoulder and saw something I didn't like. A family of ducks in single file, slowly swimming from shore to shore." He knew instinctively that if he kept rowing at that pace, he would blast right through that row of little ducklings. And he would surely take out several little ducklings. So what do? Here you are. You are in the race of a lifetime. You have spent your life to get here. This is a single elimination round. If you do not win this round, you're out. You're done. At least for another 4 years, you're done. What do? You say, well, I gave it a good shot. I'm going to let the ducks go by. Or, heck, it's just a couple ducks. It's just a couple ducks. It's the gold. What do you do? What do you do? Well, Ernest Holmes, I love this quote. It's many times in the textbook. I don't have the page number because it's several times. Ernest Holmes says, "We must let love point the way, and then the law makes the way possible." And in that split second, and I don't think, clearly I wasn't there, nor was I in his head, but I don't think there was a conscious decision. I don't think he didn't have time to make a rational, thought-out decision. He just responded, and he let love point the way. Joel Goldsmith actually wrote, "Love is within us, and we must open a way for it to escape." And he opened a way for it to escape. In a split second, he pulled his oars out of the water, and his skull came to it didn't just slow down, it stopped. It stopped. And he let that little family of ducks go by. Now his competitor, seeing advantage, zipped by him. He was far enough away that the ducks were not in trouble by him, and so he zipped on by. And by the time that Bobby Pierce got the ducks by and got himself rowing again, he came to a complete stop, got himself rowing again, his competitor was 5 lengths ahead of him. So we probably would be thinking right now, well, he did the right thing. He absolutely did the right thing. And he may have lost the race, but oh well, it's just a gold medal, so what? So what? He did the right. He can feel good about himself because he did the right thing, and he did do the right thing. And he can feel good about himself. And let me tell you, it is a beautiful story. And it has more to it. And more to it is this. In the final 1,000 meters of this race, not only did Bobby Pierce catch up with his competitor, he was able to get enough ahead of him that he had a 30-second lead at the end. That is a long time in an Olympic competition. Things are measured by hundredths of seconds. A 30-second lead he beat that competitor by. He went on to beat everyone in every one of the rounds that he did and wound up having, in that race, the fastest time of any competitor in the single scull rowing, and he won the gold medal. All while coming to a complete stop to be an unsuspecting duck crossing guard. Ernest Holmes tells us God has deposited love at the center of our being, whether we know it or not. Love masters everything. Love is the answer, no matter what the question is. And that is a beautiful, beautiful example of what happens when we let love point the way. So I asked you earlier to be thinking about, is there an area in your life right now where love could be, love would be the answer if you were willing to put it forth? Are you willing, again, this is all rhetorical, you don't have to say anything, I'm not going to ask you, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to share, I know I do that sometimes, I'm not going to ask you to share this morning with the neighbor what you're going to do, but I just ask you, in your heart of hearts, could you make a commitment to let love point the way with something, to let love be the answer in some area of your life? Let love be that which makes all the difference in the world. And if you recall last week, one of our letters, the M in watermelon, actually, let's just see, who recalls what the M in watermelon stood for? You want another one, don't you? There you go. I heard it coming from over here, too. Was that? Oh, that was you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for being right there in the front. Oh, one-handed catch. That was good. Make commitments, not excuses. So are you willing this morning to make a commitment, to love? And to take an action this week, this afternoon, tomorrow. Don't wait till Wednesday, because if you wait till Wednesday, you will have forgotten about it. It'll be gone. You'll think, I know Michele said something on Sunday about doing something, but I can't remember now what it was. If we don't do things right away, they go away. So is there an area in your life where you could make a commitment, not an excuse? I'm scared. It might not work out. You're right. It might not. But why don't you test it? And let Bobby Pierce be a motivation, an example for you of what happened when he let love point the way for him. So that's our L. Let's go to our next letter, our O. O stands for, those of you in 12-step programs of any kind will know what this one stands for. So yell it out with me. One day at a time, right? One day at a time. And I'm going to just even narrow that in and say one moment at a time. One moment at a time. Because the only moment we have is when? Now. Is this moment. I've given whole talks on being in the present, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I just want to remind you of the power of this moment. And this is the only moment we have. This is it. We spend so much of our brain in the past, worrying, fretting, stewing, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, wish, right? And we spend a lot of time in the future. What ifs? Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, I'm afraid, or I'm even excited. And you know, that's great to be excited about something in the future. But that keeps us from being here in this moment. I had an interesting experience yesterday. Lonnie and I are getting ready to go on vacation. We leave tomorrow morning. And we're going to spend 2 weeks on what I like to say a floating hotel. It's a houseboat. We're going to be on a houseboat on Lake Powell. And one of my favorite things put me on water, and I'm just a happy, happy, happy little camper. Put me underwater, I'm happy as well, but on top of water, very happy. So we are going with some friends. We're going to pull a ski boat and, motor around and just have a great time. Well, there's a lot of preparation to be done to get ready to be on a floating hotel because there's no restaurant there and there's no maid service. So, you got to prepare. You got to take all your food, pack it in, and you got to, it's kind of camping, only a little luxurious camping. And yesterday was a very interesting day because Lonnie and I had total and complete role reversals. Complete role reversals yesterday. And this has a point about being in the moment. Yesterday, he was in his office working all day. He had clients who were just on that needed things before he leaves. So he's in his office working, which is normally where I'm usually the one sitting at my computer working. While he is where I was yesterday, which is, where do you suppose that was? The kitchen. Having first, by the way, I know, because none of you will believe that I was actually in the kitchen. Before going in the kitchen, however, I went not to one, but 2 grocery stores and major shopping, not like go pick up one little thing. I'm talking shopping for 2 weeks of food. I didn't break anything. I didn't fall. Didn't break anything. No. So this is all that. Yeah. This is all quite major for me because I don't do this kind of stuff. I just do not do this. I'm not in the kitchen. He cooks. I don't. I'm making potato salad. I'm making brownies. I'm making hard-boiled eggs. I'm cooking. Cooking. There was heat involved, so it's cooking beyond the microwave. So the point of this story is that I was actually having a good time. I was enjoying myself in the moment. Now, I'm excited about going on the trip. Yes, I am, but my brain wasn't on the trip. My brain was, this is kind of fun making this potato salad. And I was having great, wonderful moment of just remember, it's a friend's recipe, a friend I haven't seen for a long time, and I was just having such a good time making this recipe of a friend of mine. And the whole thing was very present moment experience. And then I was laughing at the present moment of the irony of Lonnie sitting in his office working while I'm in the kitchen and getting quite a kick out of that present moment. But I could have been, I'm in the kitchen. I don't like to cook because I really don't like to cook. I don't like cooking, and I wish I weren't here. And why isn't he here? I could have been all over that plate. I could have been all over that. I could have been all over that in the grocery store. And I had a moment because I find grocery shopping very stressful because I can't ever find anything. And then, I had to get olive oil, and there are like 18,000 different kinds of olive oil. There are, and I don't know what he needs. And I've called him on the phone in the past, actually. Honey, what kind of olive oil do I need? This time, I just looked at the olive oil, and I said, Spirit, tell me what olive oil to get. Okay, that's a good one, and I bought it. So that is just some present moment experience. It can, the present moment can be profound even when you're doing rather mundane things. I love the line from a song. I think Blessed Whitney Houston sang this gorgeous song, Give me one moment in time when I am more than I thought I could be. And you know what? Yesterday, making brownies and potato salad, I was more than I thought I could be because I don't cook, right? I'm not a cook. Well, yes, I was yesterday. Yes, I was. So I just want you to take a moment right now to take a deep breath and close your eyes just for a moment. And Pam, for just a moment, give me some present moment music. Whatever that is to you, whatever comes to you in the present moment. Just breathe right here. We're not done. This isn't our closing meditation. I've got one more letter to talk about, but I just want to anchor in this beautiful present moment where we are here together in this sacred space. You're sitting next to a friend or someone who will be a friend because you will introduce yourself after service. We're here laughing together. We're here going deep in the presence of God together. We're here hearing beautiful music together. We're here experiencing community together in this moment. How beautiful this moment is. And I want you to recognize that in this moment, which is the only moment we ever have, this moment, and our whole life is made up of continuing this moments, that in this moment you are more than you thought you ever would be. Right now, you are more. So just softly say to yourself, in this moment, I am more than I ever thought I would be. Just say that to yourself. In this moment, I am more than I ever thought I would be. Now let's say it out loud. In this moment, I am more than I ever thought I would be. And that is the truth. And we're grateful for that. And now come back to me. Charles Fillmore, Unity co-founder, wrote, God is and we are. Let us live in God's world, not in a world to be tomorrow, next month, next year, or next century, but here and now. God's beautiful universe is all around us, only awaiting our acknowledgement of its presence. Let us know God and live with love and joy, health and peace, here evermore. That is this credo, one day, one moment at a time. So let's go to our last letter, the letter N, which in a different way says the very first one. We go back, this is kind of full circle. Well, a watermelon is not round, it's an oval, but it's, it goes around. So we're coming back to our W of watermelon in a way. And who remembers what the W of watermelon stands for? Yes, Barbara Joy? Bingo. Were you about to say that as well, Martha? Mm-hmm. There you go. Uh-oh. See, so Sharon got it too. Here comes Fran, jogging up the middle. This is also a workout routine for our ushers. Thank you so much. I was about to say, see, isn't that motivation to sit up front? I think it's motivation to sit up front. So yes, whatever we believe creates our reality is the W. Well, our N is related to whatever you believe creates your reality. And here is the N. The N is never become a victim. Never become a victim. Now, we can have experiences where we feel victimized. Absolutely, we can. We're going to talk about what we do with that in a second. But we have a choice about whether or not we become a victim around it. Never let yourself become a victim, ever. Have you ever thought, rhetorical question, don't have to answer it, but have you ever thought your life was heading in a certain direction? You're on a path, you're on a journey, and then you discover it is not. You discover it goes sideways, it goes up, it goes down, it goes around, it doesn't go the direction you think, and then where do we go? Do we get into blame? It's your fault, it's my boss's fault, it's my husband's fault, it's not you. It's it's my partner's fault, it's the government's fault, it's Trump's fault, it's Hillary's fault, whoever, it's whoever's fault. We can really do that. Or we can say, it's my fault. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. We have, however, responsibility for how we respond. And I love responsibility, the ability to respond. If we're acting like a victim, we lose our ability to respond because it's just being done to us. We're just feeling like it's happening to us. Someone's doing this to me. There's a great story, comes out of a book by Noel McGinnis. Obviously, this was a long time ago, but it was a woman who was in an airport in somewhere, and she was going to San Jose. She was flying to San Jose, and she hears a boarding announcement that says, passengers for Air California Flight 45 to San Francisco are now boarding at Gate 7. So this woman, who was only semi-paying attention, who was going to San Jose, goes up to Gate 7, and sits there ready to get on the flight. Once again, the boarding announcement says, Air California Flight 45 heading to San Francisco is now boarding. She didn't hear it. She didn't hear it. So sometimes in our life, this isn't to take blame, but it's just to take responsibility. We're not paying attention. We are not completely connected. We're not living one moment at a time. We're somewhere else. We're not hearing. We're not listening. We're not heeding. She doesn't hear it. She gets on. Now, obviously, this is days before computers because the gate attendant let her get on. She's on the plane, headed for San Francisco. She wants to go to San Jose. She sits down. She buckles in. No, what are they called? Not. Thank you, flight attendants. Thank you. Flight attendants are buckled in, and the plane starts to head down the runway. And now the pilot comes on. Welcome everyone to Air California Flight 45 on our way to San Francisco. We'll be blah blah in the air. And all of a sudden she shrieks, "What? San Francisco?" She unbuckles her seatbelt. She runs up the aisle to the flight attendant, and she says, "This plane is going to the wrong place. I'm supposed to be going to San Jose." And the flight attendant says, "You will get to San Jose, ma'am, but first you're going to San Francisco." And then the woman, listen to what the woman, we do this in different ways, but she says, "You have no right to take me to San Francisco. I'm going to San Jose. You obviously didn't read my ticket right. I'm going to miss my wedding in San Jose, and it's all your fault." Now, we're laughing at her, thinking, oh, that woman is loony. But how many times do we say to something or someone or a situation, "It's all your fault. I'm not heading in the direction I wanted to be heading"? And maybe it's because we weren't paying attention. Maybe that's not the reason. And what I find, my last piece of wisdom for you on this one this morning is that it doesn't matter what the reason is. We can spend a lot of time trying to figure out why, how, what did I do to attract that? Yeah, blah. None of that matters. I mean, if we weren't paying attention, then that could be a great lesson, and pay attention a little more next time. But the real thing is, what am I going to do about it now? So that woman could do nothing about it except to sit and enjoy the ride to San Francisco and then do her best to get to San Jose. Be in the moment, right? Nothing else that can be done. But we aren't always on a plane going in the wrong direction. It's just our life. So the question is, what am I going to do about it now? How am I going to switch directions in here to help my trajectory out here shift and change? So never allow yourself to be a victim, but instead be responsible, because you are. You are able to respond and to decide what you will do with whatever might be facing you. So my friends, there we have the Watermelon Credo. 10 different ideas for living a deeper life, a spiritual life, a connected life, a more joy-filled life. I actually had somebody after service last Sunday suggest that maybe next time I pick plum, it's not quite so long as and not spend 3 weeks on one thing. So I'll have the plum credo next time. But to help you stay connected to our Watermelon Credo, we have a gift for you this morning. And so ushers, are you ready for this? Yes, they are. Excellent. So we have a gift, and it is the Watermelon Credo laid out. And so we're going to do a reverse offering. How fun. I love it when we get to do reverse offerings, which means we pass a plate. Come on, you guys, you can come on up. As I'm talking, come on up. We're going to pass the baskets, and you get to take something out of the basket. Isn't that fabulous? So as this is coming around, I'm going to read the 10 ideas from the Watermelon Credo, and I want you to be thinking which one or ones really are going to be yours. All right, so here they are. Whatever you believe creates your reality. Is the W. A. Actually, you know what? Let me have your help. A. What does the A stand for? What about it? I heard it from Lonnie. But because it's if you've got it right there. Who else? I heard it from someone. Oh, whoa. Okay, are you ready? Here it comes. If I do this with it, we'll take. Okay, here we go. Somebody's going to have to skip it along. Skip it along. Oh, dear. There, it's going all the way back. Raise your hand. There she goes, right there. Send it back there. All right, attitude is the magic word. T. Now, that's just kind of cheating there because you happen to have it. That's okay. E. Tell me E. What about it? Enthusiasm is the wellspring of life. All right. R. Joseph. Jamie. That's what I heard. All right. M. We've already talked about this. What is it? Make commitments, not excuses. That came from a lot of different places. E. Every day can be a fun day. Who did I hear that from? Sarah, did I hear you say that? No? Diana, who was it? Where? I heard, yes? Oh, look at that. Beautiful toss. Nice job, Michelle. L. Come on. I'm just going to have to send them all out. O. And in, let's say in together, never become a victim. That, my friends, is our Watermelon Credo. Let's pray on it. And this candy, by the way, will go into the Holmes Hall after service, so it'll be in there and you can have as much watermelon taffy as your heart desires. So let's just take a deep breath and move into an open space, an open heart, an open mind. Open to the presence and power of love, the presence and the power of God that is here in this moment, in this room, filling us, surrounding us, being us, living us, breathing us. God is, love is, I am that. We are that. And in this open space, in this awareness of who we are, and the awareness of what we are, we recognize our ability to create. And that ability to create comes because there is a law that, as Ernest Holmes says, points the way. That law simply says yes to whatever we plant in it. So this morning, we plant these beautiful watermelon seeds, these beautiful ideas, these concepts, which on the surface could seem simple, but if we practice them, they are so deep and profound. So this morning, we plant in us these seeds of this Watermelon Credo and live from them. And as each of us allows these ideas to come forth from us, as we have this wisdom that is already in us, but as it comes out of us through an openness, our lives are enriched, enhanced, sweeter, juicier, more yummy than ever before. And as our lives are that, we are like the ripple in a pond. We ripple out and are a blessing to the world. I'm so grateful for this. So very grateful for this time that we have had over these last 3 weeks to explore this beautiful idea. Grateful for our opportunity to be here today. Grateful for the manifestation of this prayer. So in gratitude, I release it. In gratitude, I know that it is done. In gratitude, I call it good. Oh, so very, very good. And so in faith, in trust, and in truth, together we say, and so it is.